Welcome to the channel. My name is Jodie Knight. You can find me over on eToro. My live portfolio there is going to be linked in the description down below. But other than that, in this video, we're going to talk about the daily chart, the weekly chart, the short and long-term, long-dated options interest. We'll talk a little bit about my price targets, where I'm going to add, where I'm going to trim. As well as that, we'll look at the general market, what data came out, what data is coming out, and if there's any good Tesla news that we're interested in. Let's just jump straight into it. Right, Tesla. I know everyone's quite excited about this one, but I am going to need to run through it quite quickly because Shopify earnings are coming out pre-market, so I want to make sure I'm on that call, as it's not quite a core position, but I want to allow it to grow into quite a large position. So I did trim out most of my Tesla positions, so I'm now holding about 10% weighting. I do think Tesla needs to cool off. These prices are crazy. It's just gone up in a straight line and it's not sustainable. I think we were up about 50%, something like that. Roughly that from this low here at 239. We do have loads of open gaps as well, which Tesla does have a strong history of wanting to close its gaps. Now, I don't think this one down here is going to close. Possibly we could close this one, but the market is so bullish, I don't think it will. At the very least, I want it to backfill this one and kind of chop around a little bit, cool off. The RSI is getting spicy, but the RSI can push quite spicy for Tesla. Resistance to the upside, though, $400. I think if we keep this bullish momentum, I think we're probably going to hit that by year end at this rate, which is crazy. I'm not going to be buying any more shares at that price because I don't like to layer in when it's over my fair value, which was about 350. So anything over that, I'm not going to be wanting to buy. With a little pullback, I might scale in a little bit. Other than that, though, I've been updating my models. So for next year, my fair value is probably going to fall somewhere between $300 to $600. I've not quite narrowed that down yet. I'm not happy with the numbers. It's really hard to model for Tesla. There's just so much changing. We don't know enough details about the prices of stuff going forward, and it's tedious. I'm very excited there. I know the direction's going to be up. I just don't know how up. So anyone that gives you a price prediction for like 5-10 years in the future for Tesla is just moon pieing. It's probably going to smash even the most bullish expectations, to be honest. I think a lot of FOMO is going to drive it as well, which is going to push it higher. Talked about resistance, support to the downside. I would imagine we stay above this kind of 309 area. 300 is going to be a really good support as well, but we'll check in the options market, see what the market's thinking, because we're getting quite stretched on the technical side. I think that's going to be quite key to look at. Weekly chart though. Oh, no, we didn't look at the indicators. So RSI is getting a little bit hot. MACDX Plus looks good and Flow looks good. They're all looking a bit tired though, so we do need a bit of a rest. Weekly. Okay, so my original 2024 target was 340. I think we're gonna stay higher than that by the end of the year. But even the weekly, the RSI is getting a little hot. We do have room to go higher compared to where Tesla can go to, but I don't think we're in the same kind of FOMO era. I mean, we are quite FOMO at the moment, but I think when Tesla really goes, it really goes. I'm not sure if that time's now, but we'll see. The MACDX Plus also looks pretty good, and Flow looks good, so it could go higher. Can't argue that, but for it to be a healthy move, it will need to cool off at some point. Okay, so open options interest on this one. That is a lot of volume. There's a lot of people trading this. I'm not surprised. So again, resistance is going to be 400 as a decent one, but more importantly, under there we've got 375, which we're not quite at, but I would expect us to at least be able to push back to that in the near term. It is only Tuesday, so we could get there by the weekend. For the week after, pretty solid resistance here at kind of 350, which probably lines up with the chop on the chart as well. After that, it starts to dissipate. Lots of support underneath there if we get down to this gap fill. Just going to have a look at January 2025. I'm quite curious where the market is shifting. If they've got an even... Woo! They have I've definitely got more bullish on it for into the end of the year, but 610, that seems like rather a large move for a couple months. Well, less than a couple months now, but that is a lot. Downside support is way below where I'd put it anyway. I'm just gonna look at 2026 because that 610 is crazy. $5.10. So people are getting bullish long term on this one. People want to take the risky options. Ooh, January 27's out now. Let's take a look at those. See if any people have been nibbling. People picking similar prices but giving themselves a bit more runway, which is probably a bit more sensible when you're playing with options because they can destroy you and they will wipe out a lot of people that think they're experienced traders, but they're not making sensible bets. So if you're going to do leaps, give yourself a good run up because the market can be crazy. So Tesla news, we don't have too much riveting news for Tesla. A lot of the news related to Tesla is how the Trump pump's going and all that. But Tesla is going to break the record, ensuring 17.2 thousand vehicles, which is impressive. I think that's got, like we've just put down here from Wall Street Engine. They've done an extension on the 5-year 0% offer for their loans. That's they're really good at adjusting kind of finance criteria to help drive demand, and glad to see that's working out. Other than that, though, semi-charging costs, they're indicating competition by 50%. Are we shocked that Tesla's going to take the kind of lion's share of the market there? Probably not. Tesla's really good at undercutting competition. We can see that in nearly everything they do. Other than that, though, a quick reminder that I did a breakdown of the Q3 Tesla earnings update. That's on my website at thecraftytrader.com, so you can go over there and access that, as well as my deep dive research, which is what I use to start building my position in Tesla. Macro news today. We didn't have any macro news yesterday. I believe it was Veterans Day in the US, so that I was actually quite surprised when CleanSpark opened up for trading at a really random time. Thought they'd just let it go until Tuesday, but I'm glad they did because I did very well on it. But business optimism, that looks great. That's a great number. Red Book year over year is not out yet. What else is looking good today? More economic optimism. Fed speeches, I'm going to be ignoring those. There's a lot. Tomorrow, though, big day, CPI print coming out before market, which could sway things either way. Looks like the market this morning it's kind of chopping around between selling off and people buying the dip. So we'll see how that translates at the open. But with having such large moves up into rather uncertain economic data, we could see some profit taking, some de-risking. If we look at the expectations here, kind of expecting everything in line, but we are expecting an uptick in the inflation rate year over year. We'll just take a look at that, see what it looks like historically. I don't like the way they do the CPI charts on here, but we can see even a slight uptick. The trend is still offering, so it wouldn't be too much of a concern. But sometimes we get shocks here, so it's important to weigh up your own personal risk tolerances in regards to that as well. More Fed speeches, or won't be paying any attention to those. Monthly budget's probably worth a little look. API crude oil stock change, don't really pay attention to that, but I did notice that OPEC is lowering their production expectation for production demand for next year. So that's something to be aware of. Demand is falling and production's about to ramp up as well. So we know the market moves with supply and demand. So the prices are likely to fall on that one. But I do expect infrastructure to do quite well and kind of oil service stuff. Apologies for the lag at the start of this video. I've got a lot loaded up ready for Shopify earnings so I can update all my models and stuff quickly so I can get a bit faster at doing that. But if you like this content, give it a like, share with your mum, your nan, your dad, your dog, and subscribe. And I'll see you tomorrow.